because I've done these with like models and stuff like that. And there was one time it was a model who was a teacher.
Oh shit.
So I was like, okay, is there anything you don't want me to ask you? She's like, yeah, don't relate modeling to like me teaching. So I was like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That podcast never uploaded because she said too much incriminating shit.
Ah.
Like, you'd be surprised what teachers say about their kids.
What's the name of your show?
Life with Pary.
What's up, Life with Pary? Here you are. I'm looking up in the top. Says,
right.
What's up, Life with
Mike
Pary?
Ball, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Life with Pary? What's up, y'all, you Pary heads?
All in the Gold Life. That's channel name.
Oh, Gold
By the way,
Life.
he got the biggest coffee of all time. This is all black coffee in this.
This is
cereal.
This is a soup full of coffee. It's delicious.
Man, so what we were just talking about was like, all my stuff is written out way beforehand, and you do all of your stuff. And look at this. This is all. Like every word I say on stage is like all written here. Like I say it word for word up this.
That's good though that you do it like that, because you can. This is what my buddy Mike Eshak told me. Is if you do it like that, you can highlight where the funny parts are, and just highlight it, and then just take away. Just try to make your highlights.
That's what I did actually right there. Like hit or miss, but it gets a few laughs. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I take notes on the side just like that.
Did you? So you? Oh yeah. Did you audio record your set last night?
I did not. Only because I didn't. So yeah, last night we had an amazing show in Midland.
The show was
like,
dude.
Wow, like
it was on fire. Some people said it may have been the best show that we've had there.
For real?
But, yeah, some people did say that. I mean, it was good. It was a great show. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I mean, it was mostly Bill and myself, but not joking. No, you did great, man.
But the MC was quite fantastic.
The MC is the hardest spot, like in the game. So if you can MC, you're like close to being able to feature, because like you're going out to a cold audience. You know, they got to be warmed up. Usually they take the bullet, but you did great, man. You started off and you came into a conservative crowd and you crushed them.
I think they were very open. Like even though Bill told me that they'd be a little more conservative.
Yeah.
They were pretty open to anything. I thought most of my comedy, by the way, is like making fun of, like I make fun of everybody, like Indians, white people, black people, Ethiopians, like everyone. But I start off with making fun of myself.
Yeah, so
that way I'm not just attacking everyone at once. It's like, no, I can laugh at me, so now I can laugh at you.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think.
Because I've seen people make the mistake otherwise. Yeah,
they do it backwards.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is not good, dude.
Yeah, depreciation works. Deprecating. Deprecation, right? Yeah. I'm still tired, man.
Self-depreciation. You don't want to do that.
I'm whipped, man. I did a show last night, didn't get home till about 1:30, got up and just hit the road to come down to Detroit to do the show with you.
But how is Chicago? How long you been in there for?
I've been in Chicago, it'll be almost like a year coming up here soon.
How different is Chicago comedy than Detroit's?
Well, I used to do a lot more stuff in Detroit when I first started, because I'd go anywhere for a show. But there's some rooms in Detroit that are phenomenal, like hidden gems. Have you ever been to Baker's Keyboard Lounge?
I've sent them a what do you call it? A clip of me.
Here's the key.
But they've never.
Here's the key. You just got to go down there. And
oh really?
Yeah, you can't just be like, hey, this is a clip. But if you go down there,
no, they asked me for one.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. So just go down there, hang out, and rest in peace Kool-Aid. But I mean, Kool-Aid is the guy who was hosting it forever, and Kool-Aid's like a Detroit legend. And and the whole idea was, you show up, he might be like, hey, I mean, I might not be able to get you up this week, but come back next week. The whole idea is show up, because that's everything. All my best opportunities is just by showing up. You know what I mean? You can't just hope from a computer screen. Hope things are happening. I mean, it works. I mean, it's a additive. I mean, you can do that and you can get some stuff. But if you really want to, get those opportunities that you're probably not going to get, if you're just, like you send them something and they're like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But if you go down there and you show that you're willing to go down there and hang out, they're gonna do it. Like that's what happened with the Dirty at 12:30, the #1 show in Vegas that I got on. Okay, so I was in Vegas and my buddy Eric Myers was headlining this Bonkers gig, and I went to go see Eric, and I got a guest spot on that show. I did that show, and Eric's like, oh yeah, I'm headlining the Dirty at 12:30. I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out and watch, right?
Yeah.
And there's this guy, Barry Katz. He like managed like Jeff Ross, Dan Cook, all these guys, and
local names.
Yeah, big time. He started the Boston Comedy Club in New York. We have this guy Barry Katz. I don't want to keep extending the story, but Barry started this spot for comics like Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Bill Burr, all these people that were in New York, but they were the young guys that were talented, where they had 15 minutes, but maybe they didn't have the whole hour. So there was like the Comedy Cellar, which was hard to get into. But he saw all this talent. He said, well, I'm going to start the Boston Comedy Club in New York. So he took all these guys in there and he started that comedy club and then got them on the road. Anyways, Barry Katz has a podcast now.
Okay.
And he was talking to, man, now I'm going to go blank on this. He might edit that out. Just when I don't plug it out.
How did he relate to you getting into Vegas?
So there's a...
Or the 12:30,
no, so this... Chris Titus, you know who he is? Chris Titus, he's a veteran comic. He had a show on Fox. You know, like...
So I should know who he is.
Yeah, he's
okay.
Like he's a great comic, and he's been a staple in the comedy scene for a long time. And Chris Titus was talking about, he was doing the Dirty at 12:30 on the podcast. And I was just like, oh shit, you know. And he was actually talking about Carlos Mencia being there doing other people's bits.
Yeah,
and
Mencia.
And like he was talking about that on the podcast, and I heard about it, and I was like thinking about it, and I heard about it like maybe like a year before. So I go to Vegas, and I see it, I see the show that he's talking about. I'm like, oh shit, this is dope. Like I heard about this show. I'm gonna go see Eric headline it. And I went and talked to Gabe, who produces the show. I was like, hey, you know, I'm a comic. Yeah. I was wondering if I can get a spot. And you know, so like, what do I gotta do to get a spot? So come back next week. He's like, come back next week and do a spot. And I was just like, you know, that would have never happened if I didn't show up. But then the crazy thing was, I went there, crushed my spot. They put me second. And I went up there, and like the guy didn't know, like he just knew that I was friends with Eric. And I came to the show. He's like, put me up. I crushed. He's like, hey man, I gotta introduce you to somebody, because I was flying high. Yeah. I was high as like you could ever be. You just did a show, 300 people in Vegas. You know, it's like the #1 show, like it's voted by the Las Vegas Journal, #1 show in Vegas. I do it, I'm like flying high, I just crush. My family's there, like my friends are there, I'm giving high fives, I'm getting off. He said, hey man, I want to introduce you to somebody. We walked to the end of the room, and Christopher Titus is back there in the back of the fucking room watching, and I got to meet Christopher. I was like, this is so fucking bizarre, full circle, like, you know, story, because I heard about it from him, and just showing up. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Showing up is more than half the battle, just for anything. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, because
good for you though. You got a great opportunity. It's what's up.
I mean, I use it as a credit now. I mean, that's like the dope. It was like one of the dopest experiences you know, ever did. And if you guys are watching at home, we're doing this in a coffee shop, and like people are having a date right next to us, and they're just getting down. They brought their books and stuff.
There's no studio or anything like that. I just find coffee places are like I've never been kicked out for this, but I've seen someone get kicked out for filming a video in Great Lakes something coffee roast. No, Great Lakes coffee roast. I don't know what was going on. Like the moment I walked in, I just saw there was like a dude with a camera talking to someone else, and he was asked to leave, and I was like, okay, we're not coming here anymore. I don't know what's going on, but we're done. So
this is a great place, man. It's like I mean, I'm not sure if you guys want. I don't want to fuck up the camera, man. It looks like the bottom of the Titanic up in this bitch. Look at that. Like, we got it going on.
I've showed everyone. Like, they've seen this many times.
Oh, they do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
sorry for stepping on that bit.
I brag about this all the time.
This is nice. This is a nice coffee shop I've been to. Coffee is fantastic. We're sponsored by, what's this place called? Sugar?
For the Love of Sugar.
For the Love of Sugar, man. That's some Tupac right there. Some Tupac coffee right there. For the love of sugar, gotta get that sugar, man. No, that's Bone Thugs and Harmony. I was thinking, but it's for the love of money.
There's a lot of caffeine in that, I can see, because he was not this energetic when he walked in.
Yeah, I'm perking up real quick. It's like, it's such a long drive. Like when you drive and you're tired.
Did you drive from Chicago?
Well, I drive from Chicago every week to go to Midland to do that show.
You drive from Chicago every week back to Michigan?
And then back to Chicago. It's like you gotta pay your bills, you know what I mean? If you got a gig that pays and you make money, like you know it was packed last night. You gotta make things work, and there, you know, in Chicago there's a million comics who are gonna do things for free. So the amount of paid work being somebody new there is like.
But you're in Laugh Factory now, right?
Yeah, it's a Laugh Factory, and you make a little bit of money doing that, but it's still not gonna like doing the road's gonna make you money more than being in the city. Like every comic in New York or LA, they don't make any money there. They just practice.
How was your New York experience?
New York?
Yeah,
that was dope. Oh my god, I had the best story from like New York. So I was at the Comedy Cellar, like there's a restaurant right next door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it really is a cellar, by the way. For people who don't like know, like it is like you go like into like a basement.
It's a death trap.
Yeah,
it's a fire hazard that waiting to happen.
That's like if I've been in there like a few times only to like because I thought it was just called like because the Comedy Store isn't like a store. It's like a legit like its own thing. It's like Comedy Cellar is a basement.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's a basement and everybody's packed in there. It's super great. We went there and they had a great lineup. We seen David Tell there, and when we were sitting there having dinner in the place right next door, and with my friend Brett Klein, he's a Michigan comic, and a couple of my friends, and he's like don't look, but sitting right behind me, Chris Rock just walked in, and I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And then he's sitting back there, Chris Rock, and then he goes, and then we look back, Mick Foley's sitting right behind us. So like Chris Rock's there, Mick Foley's right there, and we go watch the show. Like we got a picture of Mick, but I didn't want to bother Chris. You know what I mean?
I would have bothered him. If,
I just didn't want to be like that guy. Like, oh, Chris Rock, you know? Like
I'll be that guy.
Like if I really like respect your comedy, I'm like too nervous to say anything. Like I've seen Joe Rogan like 10 times, never said anything. I'm just like.
Really?
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. What am I gonna yo, I listen to your podcast. He hears that all the time.
Yeah, he probably hears it every day.
If I'm gonna,
at least 5 people.
If I'm gonna say something, I want it to be something meaningful. So we watched the show, and me and my buddy Mitch were sitting there. We're walking back, and we see David Tell on the side of the road, right? And he's smoking a cigarette.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh man, we should say something. We should say something. I'm like too nervous, you know what I mean? I'm like, like we walk by. I'm like, he doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to be bothered. And then it's like, oh shit, we just missed our moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just missed it. And then my buddy Mitch is like, look over there, look in that car. I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan sitting in this car at the corner of the road, and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm not gonna miss my next opportunity. He has his window rolled down, and I walk up, I'm like, Mr. Morgan, you know, big fan. I'm a comic too, and he's like, no, you're not. I was like, yeah, I am. I just performed at the Grizzly Pear. Like the Grizzly Pear is like the other club on the they got like 5 clubs in the same row on McDougal, and he's like, no shit. He's like, I'll tell you what, man. You just keep the funny first. He's like, don't worry about doing no jokes. You just be you. Keep the funny first. You do that, and your third eye will open up. You know, it's like, thank you, Mr. Morgan.
He gave you some like deep insight.
Yeah, I was like, thank you, Mr. Morgan. And it's just like so wild because, especially because with my comedy, if you see me last night, I just do a lot of improv, and I just go up there and be me, and that's what works for me. And in the beginning, everybody else has a plan for you. They're like, well, you need to be this kind of comic. You need to do this kind of comedy. Oh, that's not doing it right. Like people will hate anything that you do, especially if you're being successful at it. They're like, that's not right, you can't do that. And when he said that, I was just like, it was just a reaffirmation that I needed. Like he was just like, you just be you, it'll work out. I'm like, that's exactly what I needed to hear, dude. It was like an angel.
I'm so glad that
it was like an angel drove up in a car and was just like, do you, man.
The angel that looks like Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan is an angel, man.
I'm so glad that when you meet certain celebrities, they're like really nice.
Yeah.
And they're just like straight assholes. Like there was, you know, the guy who played SpiderMan, like the first, like 2004 or 2002.
Tobey Maguire?
Yeah. He's a dick.
Is he?
He's a dick.
Dude, he was so good in Bubble Boy. Have you seen Bubble Boy?
I have not.
Oh, watch Bubble Boy.
I saw him in LA when I was like, I was there on vacation, and like we were just like, while we're here, let's go to like some open mics. And I saw him taking pictures with like a bunch of people on the Star like Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I want a picture of Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
And like, but like in the line, like he's just such a prick because everyone like, for one, like he was separating people in the line between like who's like the hot girl and who's that dude.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, so all girls get it for free, and then all guys you gotta pay this much. And I was like, wow, you're gonna do that?
That's
and then
hilarious.
There were certain girls who went up to him. He was like, yeah, you gotta pay me too. And I was like, you're a dick, man. Like, why?
That's fucked up, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, Spider-Man's an asshole.
So you went and get a picture with the fake Spider-Man? You're like, fuck it, dude.
I almost wanted to.
The Hollywood like, Spider-Man?
I did not, but I was like, just. Like, I'm glad Tracy Morgan is that cool.
Dude, Tracy Morgan was the bomb.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Aaron White. Do you know him?
Yeah. Well, I know Aaron White.
There he goes.
He sent me a clip about getting on the show. I actually got to talk to him.
Oh yeah, well.
So that'd be good. We can talk to him after this.
We were gonna, yeah, I was gonna film with him after.
Oh shit, no doubt.
Oh yeah, dude, he's really. I mean, despite the way he dresses and the way he talks and the way he looks, he's a great guy.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Dude, this is crazy. I can't believe. For one, I can't believe I'm talking to you right now. You were recommended by like Bill Bushart, Mike Jeter. I forgot who's the bald guy, Sal. Forgot his last name.
Sal D'Amelio, man.
That's who it is. Yeah, Sal D'Amelio. He's the other one. Yeah, I told you, there he is. I saw you coming in the parking lot.
That's good.
Look at this guy.
Nice shirt right there, dude.
Thank you.
Straight out.
Yeah, like this is.
Section.
I'm high on morphine right now.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, he has like about 3 surgeries a day. We're not sure how he's still walking, but
how he does that thing.
It's weird because like the comedy's been affected because of it. I started out as like a high energy person, but because of the surgeries, it's been like now I have to figure out how to shift entirely. So I'm still figuring that out.
So you've been how long you been having surgeries? What's happening?
So I have Crohn's, and I got medically retired from the Navy. And,
Oh no shit.
Yeah, it was like relatively recent. And recently though, like the surgeries have been more apparent. Like I've had like multiple colonoscopies, which like colonoscopies aren't that bad, but then there's been like actual surgical stuff is this going on YouTube?
yes.
I had surgery on my asshole yesterday.
Holy shit.
I don't know.
You put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably more views than
Yeah, that's gonna get more than what this is gonna see.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not your surgery getting your ass, but it's funny that.
Right, yeah, that's not. Alright, I was gonna ask you, what's your final goal with like stand-up? Do you want to get into movies? Or do you want to just like go on the road? Like, what do you want to do?
Dude, when I first started, I thought like just being a paid
When did you first start?
About 7 years ago. So
Okay.
when I first started, I just want to be a paid comic, and if I could do that, and I hit that like 3 years in where I was making a living, and I was like, oh shit, like really I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I don't like if nothing else happens, and this is what I do for the rest of my life, I'll be happy. But I mean, there's obviously goals. Like if I get a Netflix special, or you know, I don't give a fuck. Put me on Amazon Prime. I don't even care. Put me on Apple TV. I don't give a shit.
Did you do a Netflix special entirely on crowd work based on what I've heard about you?
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome.
Like I saw him like we had a show last night.
Yeah.
And, like the last
I saw you
half
guys
of what you did was all crowd work.
Yeah.
It was good too. It wasn't like the I don't want to say his name, but it wasn't like what's his face that we were talking about earlier. Like he actually knows what he's doing when it comes to crowd work. Well, like we know comics are just like they substitute like their comedy for just swearing.
Yeah.
I was like, the word fuck isn't funny. Like actually use it in context of a joke to make it funny. But if you just say it and people laugh, like they're not laughing at you, they're just laughing at your like obnoxiousness.
Just based on what I've heard about you, Mike, you sound like the Big J Ogerson of the Midwest.
Dude, Big J is like one of my fucking idols, because I was just telling Pary, like when I first started, people were like, you can't do crowd work, you can't do crowd work, you can't do crowd work, you gotta do material, you gotta do material. And just in my circumstances of doing the same rooms over and over again, I couldn't do the same material. So I just developed crowd work.
When did you start doing crowd work?
I started
like how many years in before you started like doing it?
Probably 2. I always try like. The thing was, I would always just tell people I could do more time than I could. So I'd be like, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's exactly what
I'm willing to take that risk.
Well,
awesome.
I did the same shit, yeah. Dude, like, you know how many opportunities I've been offered that I don't deserve?
Oh, no, I was speaking like...
Well, there's a, you know, Cedric the Entertainer, why he went by that? Was he would do the same thing. Cedric the Entertainer would be, yeah, I'll take that gig for sure. And he just only have so much material, and he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go up there and entertain.
Yeah.
And so he'd go up there and just try to spread as far as he could go. And just because of that, like, I mean, in the beginning it wasn't that much. Like, in the beginning I had like 8 minutes of material, and they're like, can you do 12? I'm like, oh, for sure, you know what I mean? And then they were like,
would I lie to you?
And then, they were like, oh yeah, can you do 15? Oh yeah, for sure. And then next thing I know, you know, 25, you know, just kept I had 15, I'd do 25. And then 3 years, I remember the first time I headlined, it was 3 years and I did it in Gaylord at this like bowling alley. And I just said,
I think I've done that bowling alley.
yeah, the Gaylord Bowling Center or whatever. And they let me put a show on, they let me headline. I did 45 minutes for the first time 3 years in. And I had about 25 minutes of material and I did crowd work for 20. And it was just, yeah, and it was great. They were like, that was fun. But it was all those moments of stretching before where it was like, I'm stretching,
Yeah.
where like, there it is. Now it's just like, now there's a Bill Hicks quote is like, material's what you do when when you have nothing else to talk about. So if I can go up there and something's happening like during the show,
I disagree with that.
I mean, but there's the thing. Everybody's different. You are.
That is a quote.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks.
That is a quote.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't make it like legendary. Like I can quote myself right now. That doesn't make it.
But Bill Hicks was a fantastic.
Well, yeah, I'm not questioning his credibility. What I'm saying is like just because like if Dave Chappelle says the exact opposite, which quote is more important?
Yeah, but Dave Chappelle.
You see what I mean? Like just because he said.
I think Dave Chappelle would agree with Bill Hicks though. Dave Chappelle goes.
I don't know. We're talking to people I've never met. I don't know that.
How about this? Bill Bushart has made that quote before. Like,
oh shit!
Like in his class before. Like I saw him do it. He's just like. Bill Hicks once said.
Can we wait? This was supposed to be us two, but now we're running out of time.
Aaron, just come in here, man.
We're gonna do another one with him. Wait, just tell them where they can find you first. And then we get a podcast of all three of us.
Yo, what up, Pary World? If you wanna find me on the internet, get me on Facebook. Well, just follow me on Facebook. I'm out of friends. I have all the friends I can have on there. But like my page, The Future Comedy Show. We're in Michigan, Ohio, Chicago. We got a Laugh Factory show coming up November 4th. If you guys see this, just reach out, get your tickets for it. Then I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I am Mike Ball. Pretty easy.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay fresh. Stay cool.
Peace be with you.